guys? Welcome to episode 177 of the Monday Night Wars. I am Chad Talks, and joining me, as always, is J Mac Gaming.
Hello, it is me. It's DDP. It's JMac123. I don't know where I was going with that. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
I'm doing good. One of the things that has become my favorite thing about this series is how many cringy opens you give us every single week. It's my favorite thing.
I gotta do what I gotta do, Chad. Gotta do what I gotta do. Hey,
Yeah.
look, let's look at the guys at 42 days like we did with mine. Like Billy Silverman, Davey Boy Smith, and Lodi. Look at
Oh
those
man,
guys that could take over to fucking Monday Night Raw.
you don't have the balls.
Bro, I know because Austin's roaming around right now, and I don't want you to take Austin.
Yeah.
That's the only one. I feel like I could outbid you, but who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows, man? It's still crazy.
Part of me kind of wants to bid you a fuck ton of money, have you raise your stake, and then bow out.
Then that would suck. That's kind of rude. Well, then Austin would go free agency. I don't know. That would suck, but I'm not made of money right now in WWF land.
Anyway,
I'll do the same exact thing with all your boys then, Chad.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, we are doing Monday Night Nitro. We got a good show lined up this week. I think you'll like it.
Oh, we didn't book a pre-show.
Damn it. Well, here we go. So we open the show up with the NWO. Last week, the Scott Hall and Kevin Nash lost the WCW Nitro Tag Team titles to Raven and Scott Steiner after some interference from Rick Steiner. Who Rick Steiner, you remember, was getting some payback after Sting attacked him before Rising Sun in the lead up. So they're in the ring, and they are furious, and they talk about how they want to they can't wait to get their hands on the remaining members of the Resistance. Hogan says that he took out one of the Road Warriors, so that's already one member down. He says, and he's not here tonight. So they're already outnumbered, he says, and they're going to systematically continue to pick off members of the Resistance so that when it comes to the pay-per-view, there won't be anyone to face them. There won't be a Resistance because they're all going to be taken out. And then they say that tonight, they want their tag team titles back in place of the NWO. And so they say that they're going to challenge Scott Steiner and Raven tonight for the tag team titles. And then they get interrupted by Raven via satellite.
Oh shit! What's Raven got to say?
Or I guess not via satellite, but via like backstage. And Raven says, "Listen, Scott's not here yet. Something's taken him a while to get here. I'm not sure what it is yet." He said, "But don't worry, he'll be here in time to defend these tag team titles. And the NWO want a tag team match against us? Fine. I'll always be willing to fight the NWO. But we beat Hall and Nash last week, and I think it's only fair that they are not two members of the NWO that are facing us for the tag team titles. So we'll do it, but it's going to be two other members of the NWO. I don't care who. Maybe it's Mike Awesome. Maybe it's Six. Hey, Six, welcome back to Nitro. We really glossed over that." The Dudleys were traded. It was the Dudley Boys for Six straight up. That was the trade that was offered, and Eric Bischoff took it. But yeah. So he says, or maybe we can both. Me and Scott can both get some payback on two members of the NWO we don't particularly like at all. Of course, me being Hulk Hogan, and of course Scott Steiner being Sting. Yeah. So how about you two put your money where your mouth is and see if you can take these titles from us, from the Resistance. And Hogan and Sting agree, and that's the main event tonight.
Wow.
Hogan and Sting, the NWO, taking on Raven and Scott Steiner, the Resistance.
Interesting. Move on to the opening match of the night, Chad.
Yes. Wow, that's got a 75.
Yeah, it did.
Wow, I thought this was going to do horrible.
I think a 75 is horrible.
All right. But in a poor match, Diamond Dallas Page defeated Mahoney with a diamond cutter.
Yeah. So DDP carrying the man into a 75. Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
We move on to DDP right after.
And he says, "I am sick and tired of Dreamer and his cronies getting in my business and trying to attack me, try to jump me, try to feed me all of that garbage about joining their group. He said, I'm sick of it. So I'll tell you what, Dreamer, since you're so obsessed with me, since I'm living rent free inside your head, at the pay-per-view, me versus you, let's go 1-on-1. And after I kick your ass all over the arena and send you to the hospital, the only one who will be dreaming big will be all these fans who will never have to listen to your stupid mouth ever again.
Wow. Okay. We move on to this little match, Chad.
So one of the things that Eric Bischoff announced backstage before this started was Mike Awesome's going to defend the television title at the pay-per-view, but he's not defending it against Kidman or any member of the Resistance, because he said, listen, if they want to play that game of Nash and Hall, aren't allowed to have their tag team title rematch, fine. Kidman can't get his television championship match, but it can be anybody else, any non-resistant member can come out here and we'll book it a fatal four-way, and we'll see who wants to step up and take on the big bad Mike Awesome. And so these are the four guys who step up: Kanyon and Saturn, and Luger and Vicious. Now Luger and Vicious. Now as soon as the bell rings, Lex Luger lunges at Sid Vicious, just starts pummeling him. Like, they just start brawling. They brawl all over the place. It actually, for the most part, looks like it's just a one-on-one match between Chris Kanyon and Saturn, because they're both in the ring. These two guys are fighting all over the place, and it's physical. They're fighting in the crowd. Luger is pissed, and he keeps saying, "Why? And Vicious is just not answering. He just continues to they brawl. And eventually, Luger is able to lay out Sid Vicious long enough to then go put in a torture rack on Saturn, and making Saturn tap out and become the number one contender for the television championship.
Wow. Lex Luger defying all odds. Defying the odds.
Defining the odds.
To tap out Saturn. We move on to this little beatdown.
So he gets his hand raised, and Vicious just attacks him from behind, and just starts jumping him again. He power bombs him. He puts him through another table. He just starts laying him out, and then Luger needs help getting back to the back, and Vicious actually walks on his own back to the locker room.
Ooh. Tell me about this, Chad.
So they also booked this match to give a little revenge to the NWO, because Rick Steiner did cost the Outsiders their tag titles. So Scott Hall versus Rick Steiner is the match right now, and it's a good match. But Scott Hall does defeat Rick Steiner with a razor's edge.
Yeah, a good showing by Rick Steiner. Showed a lot of fight, but just could not get it done over Scott Hall.
Yes.
Oh boy.
We are backstage. Diamond Dallas Page is in the locker room, and he just gets attacked by Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer just runs in, throws his head into a locker, and then
why would he throw his own head into the locker?
Or Dreamer throws Diamond Dallas Page's head into a locker, and then picks him up and gives him a DDT onto the ground. And then Dreamer says, "I'll see you in 2 weeks."
Damn. See you in 2 weeks. Spring of Stampede 99. Dreamer Dallas Page. Ooh. Oh boy. Oh boy, where was Eddie to carry this one?
And then an abysmal. We go to commercial. We come back. Val Venis is with Tori Wilson, and the undefeated Val Venis is ready for his next opponent. Disco Inferno shows up in an abysmal match. Val Venis defeats Disco Inferno with a pile driver.
Ooh, Tori Wilson did do some good work at ringside, Chad.
Hell yeah, she's a good manager.
And then
after the match, Tori Wilson and Val Venis make out.
They make out. Speaking of making out,
we go backstage. Raven's like, "Where is Scott?" And he's like, "Oh, there he is." And Scott's getting out of his car. He's like, "There you are, Scott. It's about time. What took you so long?" And Scott's like, "Sorry, I had a big day." And then Elizabeth gets out of the car, and Raven's like, "Really? That's what kept you? Come on, man. You have to focus. All right, we're facing the NWO tonight for these tag team titles. I need you at 100%. He says, "Don't worry. I've never been more loosened up in my life. I am ready to go." And then Sable gets out, and Raven just goes, "What?" And then Scott Steiner looks at him, looks at the two girls, and then he says, Hey, Mark Merrow, how you doing?
Oh, big pop for the WCW crowd.
And then he just goes, "She out there, partner." And then she just walks away with both of them arm in arm, and Raven just shakes his head.
Yeah, the WCW crowd really enjoys seeing the WWF guy really sad over his wife leaving him.
As long as it's Scott that's doing it, everyone's
Yeah,
fine.
I guess so. Tell me
We go
about
back.
this.
So this was a tag team match to get big in Japan, the global tag team champions. A match, it's been a couple weeks since we've seen them, and I wanted to give them something to do. So they had a match, and they beat the Faces of Fear in 10:29 when Vader defeats Meng with a power bomb.
There you go, Vader. The Faces of Fear taking another pin, but they at least have good performances while doing it.
They do. They're good hands.
Good hands. We move on to the main event of the night, Chad.
And our main event got a 90 for the WCW Nitro Tag Team titles. In an exceptional match, Scott Steiner and Raven defeat Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Sting in 2015 when Raven pins Sting with a pile driver. Scott Steiner and Raven make defense number 1 of the WCW Nitro Tag Team titles. And they're celebrating in the ring. Scott Steiner grabs a microphone. He's about to cut a promo, but he's jumped from behind by the remaining NWO members. And then, sadly, the NWO, they start attacking Raven and Scott, and everyone's asking, where are the other members? And it shows backstage. It shows Kidman knocked unconscious backstage. It shows the other Legion of Doom member knocked out. So it's literally just these two right now. And the NWO, they all hit them with their finishers. They all just hit them with chairs. They lay them out.
The ring is now filled with trash. People are throwing their trash and they are booing the NWO. Who will take out the NWO? How long will this last, Trid? Who knows?
Who knows?
That is Nitro at 88. You upped last week.
Hell yeah! I thought this was gonna be worse than last week, but no. The Nitros keep getting better and better.
They are keep getting better and better. I can't really fault you for that. You have the big four in the main event every night. You can't beat that, Chad.
You can't beat that.
All right.
And you can't beat that.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna have to close my door in a second. Let's put episode 150. What 177?
Do you remember what Raw did last week?
Ooh. I don't know. 85, I think, off the top of the dome.
The second week in a row that my show's better than yours.
Yeah, we're building stories, Chad. Alright, we're building stories. Alright, that's all that matters, okay? I doubt your pay-per-view does better.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Hey, tell the background noise to shut the fucking mouth.
All right, I'll yell at him as soon as we're done recording.
Episode 1.
Hey, shut the fuck up!
That's been episode 177. Leave a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Go follow us on Twitch because that's where the pay-per-views will be live.
And make sure you subscribe to JMac Gaming's new OnlyFans that he is that he has set up.
It's just risque photos of me naked, but I'm holding a picture of Sean Stasiak over my, But it's not this Sean Stasiak. It's when it was known as Meat. Literally, it's get it. Yeah, come on. You gotta live the gimmick. All right.
You gotta live the gimmick.
All right, Chad. One last thing here. One last thing, Chad.
One last thing. What's that one last thing?
Fuck Brandy Rhodes.